Welcome to Talk Mode. I'm your host Wahab, and today we're going to be diving into a book review for how to win friends and influence people. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Talk Mode. As per the intro, we're getting into a book review today. Today's book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, if I'm pronouncing that right. Um, First published in 1937. Weighing in at 268 pages, we're going to be looking at this book. Non-fiction, obviously, as mentioned in previous episodes, I'm looking through a lot of non-fiction books this year. Let me get into the blurb and then we'll discuss some of the things that are within the book. Top of the blurb, the only book you need to lead you to success. In his exuberant conversational style, internationally best-selling author Dale Carnegie offers practical advice and techniques for how to get out of a mental rut and make your life more rewarding. His advice has stood the test of time and will tell you how to make friends quickly and easily, win people over to your way of thinking, improve your conversation skills and become more entertaining, and final bullet point says acquire new clients and customers. How to win friends and influence people has the potential to turn around your relationships and improve your dealings with all of the people in your life. The Times writes classic, the Daily Express writes gave birth to self-improvement industry that spans the globe. And on the front it says Carnegie changed my life. That's a quote from Warren Buffett. So high praise for this book. This book, the key themes within the book, I want to say, are split into four parts, and then within that, it gives you different skills and tells you a lot of stories in the book that kind of apply those skills and gives examples of really successful people. Bearing in mind that the book was originally published in 1937, the examples are from way back when, so it talks about um, Abraham Lincoln and Charles Dickens and people from back then, you know. But the four fundamental parts that is broken up into is part one, fundamental techniques in handling people. Part two, six ways to make people like you. Part three is how to win people to your way of thinking, and part four is be a leader, how to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. And you know what? Genuinely, this book, the style that Dale Carnegie writes in is actually very conversational. He talks through and explores ideas and then gives examples of how some people applied the ideas and found success, and how some people who didn't apply the ideas and what their results were when they've tried something different. And it's a really well thought out and informational book. For me, the key is providing key information of how to deal with people. But the main theme overarchingly is something that I'm actually quite a fan of anyway, and I've tried to apply it in my day-to-day life already. This is just showing me how to apply it in different situations. And that number one thing is empathy. This whole book is about having empathy, understanding other people's perspectives, putting yourself in their position, and not trying to put anyone down, but rather trying to understand them and communicate with them in a better way so that they come around to your way of thinking, or you come to a nice solid middle ground where both of you benefit. That's the whole overarching purpose of this book. So let's put it on my scale. Yeah. So yeah, it's a kind of a difficult one. It's really between. If you don't know my scale, please look down in the show notes. You'll see My scale is outlined there for you. And for me, it's very much between a 4 and a 5. The question is, does this earn a permanent spot in my library? And you know what? To be fair, I think it does. I think it does. So for me, this is gonna sit at a nice 5. Only just a 5. And in fact, I don't think it's anything that the book does wrong that makes it only just scratch the 5. I think it's more the fact that the examples in there are from a older time, and it'd be nice to get more contemporary examples. And if this book was written today, it would be a full-on solid 5. So I think the content of the book is still great. All the advice is still great and applicable today. It just reading the book, it'd be more relatable if the examples and given for those different situations were more up to date. Although saying that, they have, according to the preface of the book, they have already updated it somewhat. So yeah, I thought this was a great book, and yeah, it will earn a permanent spot on my shelf. Well, that's another quick 5 minute book review done, and that's book two of this year. I am currently reading The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and hopefully we'll have a review for that at some point soon. Thank you very much for listening. Please let me know if you have any thoughts on this book. Have you read it? Did you find it useful? Or are you reading any other non-fiction books at this moment in time that are in this similar sort of space of self-improvement, communication, business, all of that kind of stuff? If you have any of them and have any recommendations, please let me know. You can either do that by contacting me at Wahab Originals on Instagram and DMs, or going over to YouTube. If you're not already listening to the podcast there, you can go find the podcast on YouTube, search Talk Mode or Wahab Original, and go comment on the podcast. Either way, thank you guys again once for listening and joining me today. I'll see you on the next one.